My name is Angelina and I'm CEO of Murka. And I would like to tell you about our success on Android because it's something new for us, maybe some obvious thing for you, but we'll see. So actually the presentations usually are started with the introduction of a company, and I spent a couple of hours thinking what is the key thing about Murka I need to mention. Several things came to my mind. Maybe I need to tell that this year we were included to top 10 social casino companies in the world. Maybe I need to tell that during 2 quarters Murka is one of the fastest growing social casino companies in the market. But actually I think it's more about figures, and that became possible because we understood a very huge thing for us, that if you want to be successful, you must be different. So for me, Murka is about stop copying and start innovating. And I will try to tell you why. We started our journey with Slot Journey application in 2011. During 2 years, we acquired 6 million downloads on mobile only, and during the first year after initial release, Slot Journey was in the top 10 social casino grossing games in the market. And I think it was because the game was completely different from simple slots games. We didn't have an open lobby in the game. Instead of it, we had a map where user can pass through the map, completing different missions and opening different worlds. It was pretty exciting and innovative at that time, and the game had a huge success. After 2 years, we made, I think, a false decision to stop developing Slot Journey, and we tried to make several new titles which were common to the market, like simple slots with simple open lobbies, cartoonish graphics, and unfortunately they were not very successful. And in 2015 we came to the market with the idea of scatter slots. It's the application with completely new vision, built almost for male audience, and I think among key features I can mention the stunning graphics, which is a little bit dark and completely unusual for slots applications. If talking about absolute numbers, with scatter slots compared to Slot Journey, we almost doubled the amount of downloads on Android, and our net revenue generated from Android increased 5 times, which we consider to be a huge success. And now I want to tell you some tips which we found out how to build a proper marketing strategy on Google Play. It's not something innovative, but for us that strategy worked with scatter slots. So the first and the most important thing is the first impression on Google really matters. It's the main mistake of all small developers to start soft launching the game on Google Play, because the approval process on Android is a little bit easier than in App Store. But you know that on Google Play you will have in such a way you will waste the possibility which is given for you by launch window. So what does it mean? Google considers that users want to open and play new games and applications. That's why they give a little boost for newcomers by adding them to a new free chats. For us, it's like a new free casino chat. And you can be present there only during first 30 days after initial release, and while being there, the possibility to move through rankings is much more higher than when you are in old application. After new free casino chat, we were transferred to a trending chat, and in both chats we had a paid organic ratio 1:2, which is twice higher than our average paid organic ratio. So during that period we attracted lots of users, and now they are our core loyal audience. Also, which we need to know about Google, that downloads matters, but you need to have a smart approach to downloads on Google. I don't think that simple boosts work for Google well, because it's better for you to show the Google mechanism that more and more people are interested in playing your game. We try to do it in such a way with scatter slots. On the second day after initial release, we acquired 500 users. After several days, we increased this amount to 900, then 2,000, and as a result, in a week, we were in top second new free casino games in US, showing the Google that our app is trending and more people are interested in the application. Also, continuing the theme of incentive cheats, there is no need to do it on Google because they have a very sophisticated mechanism of rankings, and this mechanism includes also retention, uninstall rate, and long installs. If you will try to cheat with some incentivized downloads, your retention, uninstall, and long installs rate will drop off after some period, and as a result, you will drop off in all rankings. Also, the RASI mechanism, how Google tries to measure the quality of your user acquisition, is rankings and reviews. It's vitally important in Google, and here we can be proud that scatter slots are market leaders in terms of average ranking and amount of reviews. So we have like average ranking 4.6. The normal average ranking for Google is 4. If you are above 4, you must be aware that you are overpaying for keeping your position stable. Also, no incentive cheats in terms of acquiring the reviews, because Google have a mechanism of highlights. Here you see the highlights for scatter slots, so great graphics, addictive, best slot game. These highlights will be included to the metadata of your application, and Google will calculate it in App Store optimization process. So don't try to cheat with reviews, because people will write such different stuff as I do it for nanas, I do it for money, they force me to do it, and yeah, so it's typical, and that's what will be included into metadata of your application. What also we have found it about reviews, that 70% of negative reviews are connected with tech issues. On Google, unfortunately, the devices are not so powerful as on App Store, and the lowest rankings we receive because of issues with stability, with resource usage, etc. It's almost impossible to test the workability of your application on the whole devices, but you can see that almost a quarter of all impressions are given to the top 10 devices. So you must be aware that at least on these devices, your application works fine. Also, like for small developers, a good cheat is to exclude not powerful devices from user acquisition in order not to receive a negative reviews in future. Bet number 5 is Google is all about long-term relationships. For example, App Store, they update their rankings mechanisms every 15 minutes. That's why you always can see the impact from your activities pretty fast. Google do it several times a week, and the major update once a month, because they need to gather data about your retention, about uninstall rate, about the amount of reviews, and all that stuff. So for them, for example, the growth of installs during last 30 months matters more than the growth of installs during last 24 hours. That's why Google is not about short boosts, it's about long-term strategy of user acquisition. After all, what we've gained, that for us on Android, the user acquisition price is 2 times cheaper than an iOS, but both of them in general have 3-4 months payback period. That we consider to be incredibly well, because usually Google Play games are monetized worse than Android. But At the end, I want to tell that great marketing only makes a bad product fail faster, and that's true. So the history of success on Google Play is all about the history of success of our game Scatter Slots, which have a very strong monetization on Android, and that's why they gave us possibility to scale. So thanks Scatter Slots for this, and thank you for your attention.
You brought up the earlier slide with the number of reviews that you guys are receiving, and you mentioned that you shouldn't incentivize people to review your game for free coins or anything. So what do you credit to your extra number of reviews compared to the competitor games?
Actually, I think it's because of the great review mechanism which is implemented into Scatter Slots. You need to play to understand it. So I incentivize you to play Scatter Slots. But we ask users to pass, before a reviewing process, we ask them to pass a certain survey in order to understand their level of satisfaction. If we understand that they are satisfied and they are good with the game, we ask them to make a review. If we understand that they are unsatisfied, something is wrong, we try to treat them with a customer support and solve their problem without leaving a negative review for us.
Were you guys part of the casino developer program?
Actually, a few days ago, we became a part of a casino development program. So now we are start testing Google user acquisition, but all things that were done, we acquired for now more than 3 million people on Google without acquisition on Google AdWords. But I think that now it will be like a second life for Scatter Slots on Google, because it's a new strong channel for us.
Have you done any advertising on YouTube?
No. So previously it was forbidden for us because we were not a part of a social casino beta.
So is that in the plan?
Yeah. Now, definitely.
So on your App Store listing, you've got screenshots and stuff, and then there's a place where you can put a preview video. And I'm wondering how important you think the video part of that is.
Yeah. We made lots. We have lots of user acquisition channels, and now video is the strongest user acquisition channel for us. I think that 60% of our UA coming from video in terms of video networks and Facebook. Even on Facebook, we have a great shift to video. In terms of sources, I think that because we were not a part of social casino beta, Facebook was the #1 source, and it's a very good sensitive source for Google Play because you can acquire a targeted users, and usually the retention levels and all that stuff is very high. After that, rewarded video networks and everything below.
I was wondering what the association is between advertising on Android and how that improves ranking, because you mentioned that burst campaigns don't really work on Google. Yeah. It works more on iOS. So if you advertise, is it more of just a consistent day-to-day thing, and that kind of improves your ranking over time? Or
I think the most important thing is that you need to understand that on Google, it needs to be a consistent campaign, so not a short burst like I acquire 10,000 installs today and tomorrow nothing, but today I will be #1 in top 3 casino chart. We try to do it like I showed it, step by step, rising the volumes and using only high quality sources. So no incentive cheats, and of course it takes money, because especially for social casino, I can't tell that it's possible to promote the application almost for free or to receive lots of organic downloads, because obviously Google will never feature social casino application. So you just need to be prepared that you need to put from the beginning, from the initial date of release, a certain amount of money to the user acquisition of your application. Do it step by step and using only proper sources. So for us, I didn't remember any successful case of using incentivized traffic for Google when it works.
I have a question. What about video versus static advertising? What do you prefer? What are your results on those?
I think now video, and it's all about video. Actually, we started trying different rewarded video networks with scatter slots. And on certain period of time, we understood with rewarded video, we have even higher LTV than with Facebook. And we tried to make a great shift to user acquisition through rewarded video networks. After that, Facebook introduced several new formats like cinema graphs and video carousels. And now on Facebook, I think 60% of our spend is dedicated to video too. But of course, it's two separate video strategies. On rewarded video networks, you need to work, your video creatives must be more branded, they are longer in time, and I think the end cut, the last cut in the video matters. So it must be something which incentivize user to install your app finally. Now we have a great success with interactive ad cards, with AdColony, for example, and it works good for us. For Facebook video, completely another logic, because it must be very short, and first 3 seconds matters a lot, because user sees the video in the newsfeed, it's autoplayed, and you have a very small period of time to capture their attention. So you must show the most relevant moment of the game from the very beginning, without any logos, just like big wins or free spins, something significant like that.
Do you guys run any CPE campaigns or PPE campaigns? And if so, do you find that has any impact on your Google rankings?
Actually, yes. We have a part of CPA campaigns, but it's a very small part. So we had a very negative experience with working with different affiliate networks. And as you discussed previously, because of fraud detection and different types of cheats, we had a negative experience recently, unfortunately, with one of our partners who promoted our app as a real money gambling application. People, it was very hard to distinguish, because the first funnels, they are very good. People were very interested in the game. They start playing, and after several weeks, they understood that they can't cash out their money, because obviously it's not an RMG application. We start receiving different complaints, and after that, we saw a normal uninstall rate from this partner, and of course it dropped us in Google. So you can see that, for example, in May and June we were like number 5, number 7 in top 3 US. Now we are number 17 because of that. Now we need to stabilize and to do everything once again, because we got such a fraud traffic.
How important is retargeting to you, and what percentage of your efforts are that?
It's vitally important, especially when you have such user base like with scatter slots, for example. On mobile, it's a little bit hard in terms of measuring the efficiency of retargeting campaigns. We still have arguments whether to measure an ROI of certain retargeting campaigns or to measure it just like a retention level. But yeah, we spent some percentage of money on retargeting, almost all throughout Facebook and some other mobile retargeting campaigns. But I think we need to devote more and more attention for retargeting, analyzing reinstalls, because we receive a certain amount of, we have a certain amount of users who uninstall the game and in a week or so reinstall it from different source, because in such a way they try to start again with like more luck. And we have now in game a certain approach for treatment such users. So there is something to work about, very important, and I hope that we will increase the share of retargeting costs in our overall marketing budget.
Anybody else? One more question, maybe? You can ask anything you want.
Thank you.
All right, thanks, Angelina.
Thank you for your attention.